Today we take a look at my number 2 most anticipated Hot Toys figure of 2022, Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano. You can grab your very own Ahsoka Tano figure from Sideshow Collectibles, link is in the description. It feels like it was just yesterday when I previewed this figure. It's happening! Hot Toys Ahsoka Tano 1/6 scale figure. We gotta preview this next. 2020. It was a different time then. First impressions out of the box. Oh my god, this figure is beautiful. This looks like the perfect transition from animated character to realistic figure. I am in love. Not like that, you filthy animals. Now, Hot Toys is releasing 2 Ahsoka Tanos this year. This one, and the one played by Rosario Dawson on The Mandalorian. This one, for me, is the better of the two. Not because one looks any better than the other, but because my first experience with Ahsoka Tano was during the Clone Wars, and I have a longer connection with her in animated form. This head sculpt is amazing. Hot Toys took the animated version of Ahsoka and added realism. Her face is orange in color, and there is very little texturing used, but it looks perfect. They also did a great job applying Ahsoka's facial markings. They are cleanly applied and crisp. The rest of the paint apps on the lips and around the eyes look good. The Lekku look like they are made from blue plastic and the white part is airbrushed on. Although, it could be vice versa for all I know. They look great though. One thing that I think is cool is the Lekku have wire inside them, so they are bendable, which when it comes to posing the figure is a plus for action poses. Yes! Normally only available with DX figures, Ahsoka features the rolling eye system. To move the eyes, you have to remove the head from the body, pop off the face which is attached by a magnet, and use the given tool to move her eyes to almost any position. Side-eye, cross-eyed, and lazy eye. Personally, I think it's an unnecessary addition and I don't see myself utilizing the rolling eye system at all. I'm lazy, and this seems like a lot of work for what will be minimal value, at least for me. Let me know in the comments if you plan on using the rolling eye system at all. As we move down the figure, you can feel the torso is made of a rubber or silicone material. It feels weird and squishy. Not sure why the whole torso needed to be rubber or silicone, but I'm sure there was a reason. As afraid as I am of them, especially when it comes to posing. Visually, I am loving the look of the seamless arms. Their color matches perfectly with her face, and they add an elegance to the figure where exposed joints would not. I see why people love seamless joints, but as someone who likes playing with, posing their figures, it's a hard one for me to wrap my head around. I'd like to pose my figures any way I want without breaking them, damn it. Her costume feels like it's made from a cross between cloth and rubber, and is stretchy and feels like it will stretch and move with the figure while posing. They have also made a slit on each side of the dress under the hip armor to allow for more leg movement. The design on her costume is printed on, and it is crisp. The lower part of her costume is basically tights. Ahsoka has various armor pieces attached as part of her costume. Some of these, like the ones on her dress, hands, and boots, are glued on, and others on her forearms, knees, and shins are attached by dark blue bands. These can easily be taken off and put back on, and all the armor is given a weathered look. Now, her boots are made of pleather, and sadly, they are not a split boot. This is true of most Star Wars figures. Though, unlike other figures like Gamora and Nebula, the pleather on Ahsoka's boots feel thinner and more malleable, and the ankle does have good motion. Still would have loved to have a split boot, and it could have been easily hidden with the shin guard and foot armor. Accessories-wise, she doesn't come with much, and honestly, some of what she does come with is unnecessary. She comes with a thermal detonator, which is something Hot Toys clearly has a lot of lying around the office, because they throw one in with almost every Star Wars figure. She gets a comm link with 3 different holograms. One of Obi-Wan, one of Anakin, and one of Yoda. These look like your standard Hot Toys Star Wars holograms in clear blue plastic. They look excellent on camera, but did we really need 3 holograms? Or any holograms for that matter? I don't see these ever coming out of the box. 1, she's not Commander Cody. And 2, that would require bending her arm, and that shit ain't happening. Ahsoka also comes with her now iconic poncho, which is a must-have accessory. She wore it at the end of the Clone Wars and had it again during Rebels. The description on Hot Toys website states that the poncho includes weathering effects, but as you can see, there are no weathering effects at all. It's just a pristine gray poncho. It looks really nice though, and I'm happy it was included. I forgive you this time, Hot Toys. The poncho is wired to give you that extra dimension when posing. Now, to get the poncho on, you will need to pop off her head and slip the back Lekku through the opening in the back of the poncho, and then pop her head back on and adjust the poncho. I think the poncho is great and I think she looks good in it, but I have a couple of nitpicks about it besides the weathering. One, the hood just barely fits on her head. It's snug. If you look at the prototype pictures, you can see the hood comes further down over Ahsoka's face. I wish the actual poncho could do this. It looks better in my opinion and isn't tight around the head. Two, the wire in the poncho is not that stiff as I would like it, so posing can be a bit frustrating because of constantly readjusting the poncho to the position you want. In the instructions, Hot Toys notes to avoid direct contact of the hood with the head sculpt for long periods of time. Otherwise, the color of the fabric may transfer onto the figure. Boo! She gets her 2 lightsaber hilts. Hot Toys added some weathering to each hilt, which is a great touch, and you get the usual lightsaber effects. The regular, what I'll call the static piece, and the in-motion swinging piece. Woo! You also get a couple of microscopic plastic pieces that switch out on the hip armor so you can hang Ahsoka's lightsaber hilts on them. I'm debating on ever using them because of how small they are. You also risk losing the very small piece you have to remove from the lightsaber hilt itself. Lastly, Ahsoka comes with your regular ordinary gray slab Star Wars figure stand. Why? Again, the same old bullshit. Instead of a crotch grabber, they give a waist grabber, which I think in this instance I prefer over the crotch grabber. You will see why a bit later in the video. Before we get into articulation, I want to say that these seamless arms scare the shit out of me. I'm so preoccupied with possibly breaking them that I'm afraid to bend them or pose them. So in this video, there may be more straight arm poses than I would normally do. Now on to the articulation! Her head can move side to side and barely side to side this way. Bend the back Lekku up and you can get her to look up. Bend the front Lekku up and you can get her to look down. The arm can go out this far, it can go up this far, back this far. Actually, it can go up further. Butterfly joint. And now for the elbow bend. And there we go. 110 degrees. That's it. No more. And don't leave it in this position for an extended period of time. You've been warned. Ball joint, typical wrist joint. And then we move to the torso. You get an upper twist. You get a waist twist. A nice ab crunch. And the back bend. You also get some side-to-side movement for those side crunches. She can do a full split. She can kick out this far and then go back about that far. It's not much. You get the double knee joint. Goes up like that. You get a thigh swivel. Thigh swivel. Gotta move this up and then you can get the boot to go up that far. Come down this far. You get pivot, 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 and it turns. Even with the boot not being split, there is really good ankle movement and shouldn't hinder posing the figure. Though be careful so you don't damage the boot. A couple of things I'd like to mention. 1. Be very careful when moving and articulating Ahsoka. There are other delicate parts other than the seamless arms, and I found out the hard way. As I was putting Ahsoka in various poses, I broke her belt buckle. I was lucky though to break it in a way where it stays on. At this point it is staying on fine, but I could dab some super glue to make sure it doesn't fall off. 2. I noticed as I was posing and articulating, on the armor, more and more weathered markings began to appear. The paint is very delicate, so be careful. Borrow Barring a couple of nitpicks with the robe and a couple of accessories and my fear of the seamless arms, this figure is fantastic. You couldn't ask for a better animation to realistic transition in a figure. If you're on the fence about this figure, I say do yourself a favor and get her now. She is definitely worth it. You know what else is worth it? Checking out my other Hot Toys reviews here or upgrading your display game here.